I have one. You mentioned Val Nasedkin. I don't want you to release anything that you can't, but what did he teach you about the aerobic system? Because I've got some ideas of things I think that from your logs, but I don't know exactly. So like there are different zones that you always talk about training in. I think there was aerobic efficiency, aerobic development, and I can't remember past that.
So those terms were actually based off of the first Omega Wave system that I had
Okay.
that were part of the assessment. And at that seminar that I had in 07, the first thing that, Val talked about with the aerobic system, and actually it started with, the cardiac system, is how the left ventricle, is, used in exercise and how it can be developed and the importance of it. And I think now there's a trend, on Twitter and stuff where, people talk about conditioning as this, standalone, silo that, we're going to do this because we have to for our sport because it, makes us tougher, it makes us stronger, or, okay, you don't need to do any conditioning because you're already getting that in your practice. And to me, I look at it as a recovery tool, meaning if you develop that, the cardiac system or the aerobic system, it's really there to help you recover from, the single bout of exercise to, a long practice to multiple practices during the week to a long season. Okay. And I think there's a lot of misinformation out there. And I think people of influence will say, you don't need a condition. Well, that's to me is just wrong. Yeah. Because if you do get a strong or, better cardiac aerobic system, you're going to sleep better. Yeah. With sleep better, you can recover better and you can go harder on those key practices. Better parasympathetic tone is just going to allow you to be, more relaxed, and there's, a less cost to some of this stuff. And so with Val, he broke it down on the cardiac system, basically with two different functions. So you had your very low intensity, which at that point, he said, 100 to 120 beats per minute is going to fill that chamber with more blood to stretch it. Yeah. So that's where you get your efficiency.
That's lower heart rate, right? Byproduct of that is low resting heart rate, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, more blood in the chamber, stretch the heart, bigger, hold more blood volume, lower heart rate. Mm-hmm. And then there was the opposite side of that, which is the strength side, where that heart doesn't get a real chance to relax, so you're building, the strength in it. And at that point, he was saying, 120 to 140 beats per minute. Mm-hmm. And with team sports, he said that you need a combination of both. So that low stuff is more for the endurance athlete. Mm-hmm. And, the higher stuff, the more medium stuff was more for the team sport athlete. So, that was kind of the base or kind of that cardiac development. And then, you could then see it on the HRV, once we started doing that of, guys resting heart rates going down, parasympathetic tone improving, training improving, the ability to have more density, higher sessions, mm-hmm. more continuity within the process, it just improved. Yeah. So, and that, and then at these ages, if they have good quality all the time, the improvements are, pretty substantial, as you saw with, some of your groups. And then you have the adaptations at the muscular level. Yep. So, the oxidative capacity of the slow fiber, and then the oxidative capacity of the, medium and fast mm-hmm. fiber. And when you look at team sport athletes on the slow fiber side, the ability to still go fast and hard, but not tapping into those glycolytic tissues so early, it just allows you to go harder for longer.
Yep.
And then you realize, okay, that was a game changer. Like, now we can give our guys more capacity, both upper body and lower body, for, the task at hand. And then you can, measure it. So one of the methods that Val taught us at that point was, the slow tempo. So 2,000, 2 seconds down, 2 up, go for time, multiple series.
Those suck. I want to say that right now. Those suck. But
yeah,
they're effective as hell.
Yeah. And so then I think split squats are the absolute worst with those things. And then oxidative push-ups are so then you did that, but then also you had the fast fibers. So whether it was box jumps you were doing, whether uphill sprints or sprinting with a sled for less than 5 seconds. So then you started to see, okay, and then I would use heart rates on those, on the fast fiber stuff, because you didn't want it to go above your anaerobic threshold. So then you could see improvements on sprint time, but then also, was the heart rate going down during those sessions, but speed was getting faster.
Yep. My football guys lived and breathed on those. Like we would do. All right. So this is how we kind of set things up: is we would tempo run for about 4 weeks, and then we would start on our hill sprints for the last 4. And 20 was our benchmark, but there was days we did 40. There was days we did 50. It's like the recovery was so fast, even from our big guys, that it just blew your mind. And every rep, like you were saying, was 6 seconds and under. Like it was start and stop on the whistle. Wherever you land is where you land, and 90% of them were above that hill. So it was super cool to see. And I've used that a lot with jiu-jitsu guys as well. Like I had a guy that prepped for a world championship, and he would do his deal was, all right, it's a 6-second sprint. You walk back down when your heart rate hits 130, we go again. So he was doing upwards of 50, 60 reps in a 30-minute, period. And the guy went through a 44-minute catch match. So like that was the bread, that kind of showed what it actually could do, So it was like, it's not just me saying do this. Like he was like sold after that. It's like, yeah, I got you, man.
Yeah. So when I started at the high school here, I would use GPS on those hill sprints.
Okay.
And because in these team sports, it's, everybody is so caught up in, I run 22.5 miles an hour and, which is great. The key to this though is repeatability. And so, what kind of drop off were we seeing, or was I seeing within these, sprints at different times of the year over, so if you're a no huddle offense that's snapping the ball every 30 seconds, okay, like how do you look? Now, again, it's not game situation per se, but like, how do you look repeating that? And so to me, it's all about durability. It's, how durable are you to, be within, 90% or 95% of your, top speed over, 40 or 50 plays. And, that's going to help performance in the game. But then also, I also look at it as, okay, how do these kids survive practice? And so you need to give them the capacity to withstand that. And you have to understand how the team practices in order to get there. So, the way that you train is kind of based on the culture within the football team, and you have to back that up into the development of the athlete.
Oh, for sure. Like, I can give you an example there. Like my SEMO guys, we would not coach was anti-conditioning during the season. Like he's like, we don't need to do it. If we're going to do it, I'm going to run 2 gassers and we're done. I'm like, all right, and whatever. So I made sure, I said, guys, like this is going to be the worst time of your life. If you're not pissing blood by the end of summer, then something's wrong. Just kind of joking with them. But like we came in there but we made the playoffs that year for the first time ever. And we ran 6 down linemen the entire season. And we didn't condition all year. Like that was our product. Like we were in damn good shape, coming into that season. We were able to hold it. Practice was enough of a residual to be able to hold on to it. So I thought that was interesting. And like you say, you need to be able to match that demand of practice. And for us, it was they got into practice like, this is it. and coach was like, well, I guess they're ready. It's like, you're damn right they're ready. So it's, to me, that was what really stuck out in my mind. It's like, we're in shape. You'll know it. and you can hold on to it pretty easily.
Yeah. And so, to that point, because, there's coaches that talk about, CNS fatigue and, guys are, getting, tired or they are in shape or they're not in shape. And nobody ever measures it. Nobody ever sees how, this past season with our football team, like I have guys testing HRV every morning. And so I can see the cost of, during the summer, the training response is totally different. Why? There's no school.
Yeah.
They can sleep in. There's a host of stress that's just not there.
Yeah.
But then school comes and practice starts longer, 2 to 3 hours, school. So the workload almost immediately goes up, 100, 200%. So then, you start seeing how the HRV testing is happening. So then I could go to my head coach, who I have a great relationship with, and say, okay, here's kind of what's happening. Here's, how your practice is. These are some things that I think you should look at adjusting. So now it's not, and plus I have the Kaiser leg press. So then I could see what their power numbers were like, overlaid with HRV, and then overlaid with the practice schedule. So now all of a sudden I have like these 3 data points where then I can go to the head coach and really speak intelligently to him, not just telling him what to do, but saying, okay, Steve, here's what we have. Here were my suggestions, take it or leave it. And so then it's this holistic, like you're truly trying to take care of the athlete and try to give the coaching staff and the players a chance to play at a high level.
For sure.
Versus saying,
has to go up.
Yeah. So, versus saying, okay, you don't need to condition. Okay. Why? Tell me why. What data point is coming back to you saying you don't need to do that? Or our athletes have CNS fatigue. Okay. How do you know that? What are you testing? What are you seeing that's telling you that they're fatigued? Is it your training? You don't know. Is it school? Maybe. Homework? Maybe. Girlfriend? Maybe. You don't know. So making these blanket statements of a mechanistic approach to it, and humans are very complex. And so, I think keeping an open mind to what may or may not be happening is very important.